we need to stop thinking that we know all the answers and we gotta humble ourselves, because humility will take us by far at greater steps. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Ouch That Hurts. I am your host, Jelani, and in today's podcast episode, I will be talking about how recognition is hell of a drug. So without any more chit-chatting, let's get started. So getting recognized is something that we want. Every single person in this world wants to be recognized and admired. And you're not the only one if you want those things, but it is very important to acknowledge that it definitely can have an impact on your mental health. And I'm a Gen Z and I really I not enjoy recognition, but I understand mental illnesses to the core, and I enjoy talking about the science of happiness. And one of the things that I've noticed is that we want to get the status, we want to get the recognition, we want people to think that we're smart, we want people to like us, we want so many things, and it is a drug. We are addicted to it, and I would say that it's not a healthy drug to consume, because it will impact the way that you're living. So we all want to be loved and care. And if you're like me, someone who in high school always wanted to be the best and wanted to be one of the best students, and I always wanted people to recognize that I was capable of doing hard things. I was capable of taking very, very rigorous college courses, and I wanted people to admire me. I wanted for people to think that I was smart, and I wanted people to admire me. And every time people would say, well, it's because she is smart, I felt people were feeding into my ego. Every time people would say things like, she's just someone dedicated and someone who has her life together, and it seems like she knows what she's doing. And I felt every time I got that compliment, it felt like I was getting a dopamine hit. Like whenever you drink coffee or whenever you're scrolling on social media, you get those dopamine clicks or hits because your brain loves it. And we all want to be admired. And I would say that's when things can go downhill, because when you are in this environment where you always been the smartest, and then you go to another environment where you perhaps are not the smartest because you are new to that environment, it can feel as if you are a failure. It feels like you're not knowing what to do, and it feels like you're not worthy of success. And that happens to a lot of people. And that's why imposter syndrome has its new beginnings, because you start questioning your own worthiness. And that's why now that I'm older, I recognize that I don't want to be admired, and I don't want to be recognized as this individual that is extremely smart or dedicated or has this special effect or special thing in their lives, because I don't want to be seen as someone who is just smart, because I feel like every time I feel that way, I'm one extremely comfortable with not playing too risky. And that's why it's so important to humble yourself on any situation and be very curious and very open to the idea of moving to something else. So let's say that you have a job and you've been having this job for 5 years, and then you go on to another industry. You got to humble yourself and understand that you're not going to be an expert at this new field, and that you got to start as a beginner. And sometimes starting off as a new beginner does hurt our ego, because we've always been praised by others how intelligent and how self-sufficient and self-reliant we are. So my 2 cents on this issue is that we need to stop thinking that we know all the answers, and we got to humble ourselves, because humility will take us by far at greater steps than if you're thinking that you're the smartest person in the room. And this is to everyone out there, especially to those high schoolers or college students who are really good at what they're doing, because they do seek a lot of academic validation, and that's why they try their best and they try everything that's under their own control. But understand that it's okay if you are not the best in your school. It's okay if you're not the best at your job. It is okay to start a new job. It is okay to start a new hobby, and humility comes in handy when you are willing to be very open and acknowledge that you are not an expert anymore. So, with that being said, thank you so much for listening to today's podcast episode. And I hope you learned a little bit about how recognition is a hell of a drug. So, see you in the next episode. Bye.